Hello everyone. Let's solve the problem number 26 today, right? 56, sorry. So merge intervals. So what the question states here, we are given an array of intervals. You can clearly see here, we are given an array of intervals where each interval is represented as start and end. So this is start and this is considered as end, right? So our main task is to merge all overlapping intervals. We have to merge all the overlapping intervals and return an array of non-overlapping intervals that cover all the intervals in the input. So we have to return an array of non-overlapping intervals that covers all the intervals in the input, right? So if the intervals are overlapping, then we have to merge them, right? So and we have to return an array of non-overlapping intervals that covers all the intervals in the input, right? So that's what here you can clearly see 1, 3, 2, 6, 8, 10 and 15, 18 they have given here. So you can clearly see here 1, 3 and 2, 6 gets merged because 2 comes here after 1, right? 2 comes after here 1. So this will be 1, 6 in this case. See here they have clearly given. So this one, if you consider this one as x and if you consider this one as y, 1 as x and this one 3 as y, then what we will do, then what we have to do, suppose this is x1 and x2, so we will take min of x1 and x2 and max of y1 and y2, right? So in this case min is 1 and max of y1 and y2 is 6. So we have merged this one 1, 6 and 8, 10 and 15, 18 we don't have the merge this one array to merge, right? So this one will remain constant. So in this case it will be 1, 6, 8, 10 and 15, 18. So since intervals 1, 3 and 2, 6 overlap here, so we have to merge them into 1, 6. I hope this is completely clear. The second step here is intervals equals 1, 4 and 4, 5 we have got here. You can clearly see. And output is 1, 5 here. Why? This merges right here. So 4 is equivalent to this one. This 4. So intervals 1, 4 and 4, 5 are considered overlapping itself here, right? So what we will do, this one and this one min we will consider. So min is 1. 4 and 5 max we will consider 5 as max, right? So here 1, 4 and 4, 5 are considered as overlapping. So output will be 1, 5 in this case, right? I hope the question is completely clear. I hope what we need to do is also completely clear, right? Initially what we will do, let's discuss the approach followed by the edge cases one by one and then finally write the code and discuss the complexities of the code that we have written. Initially what we will do, let's discuss the approach. So here we have considered the first interval itself, right? First example that they have given in the question. So just give me a second here. So this is the first example that they have given in the question. And also you have to keep in mind here as we will be going with the sorting approach here. Just keep this in mind. We'll be going with the sorting. So same thing, intervals 1, 3, 2, 6, 8, 10 and 15, 18 and the output we need to get here is this one and this one and this one gets merged and this one remains constant. We have already discussed this one, right? Let's see this one. So how we will, how can we articulate or what's the thought process and what we will do further, means how can we articulate the same thing in the form of code. Let's see the both here. So first here the step 1 will be, we have considered the same example here. So first step will be here, we will sort the intervals, right? So in this case, since they are already sorted, you can clearly see this is already sorted 1, 3, 2, 6, 8, 10 and 15, 18. This is completely sorted, right? Since they are already sorted here, we will proceed this one further. Just keep this in mind. Since they are already sorted, we will proceed this one further. So step 2, let's come to the main step here. So we will initialize the result array. In this step, we will initialize the result array. So we will create the result array here. You can clearly see here. We will create the result array result and we will add the first interval to it. So this one 1, 3 we have here. You can clearly see. Let me make this red. So here this one we are adding this one to the first this one a result array. This is the first step and the step 2. So next let's see the iteration, right? iterating through the remaining intervals. So next what we will do, we will compare the next element here. You can clearly see we have so let me make this red. Yeah, we have 1 comma 3 and 2 comma 6. We will be merging this one. I mean, we will be comparing this one 1 comma 3 and 2 comma 6. We will compare 2 comma 6 with 1 comma 3. Quite obviously they will overlap. Why? We have 1 comma 3 1 comma 3 comma 2 comma 6 and 2 comes between 1 and 3, right? So they overlap here. Obviously they overlap here, right? So merge intervals we will update here. Merge interval is 1 comma 6. What we will do here, 1 comma 3, again I have explained this one already, 2 comma 6. We will consider minimum of this one and maximum of these two. Suppose x1 and x2 if we consider, y1 and y2 we are considering here. So here we will consider min of x1 and x2 and max of y1 and y2, right? In this case we will get 1 comma 6 obviously, right? Now result becomes 1 comma 6, right? Result becomes 1 comma 6. Just keep this in mind. Second step is we are comparing 8 comma 10 with 1 comma 6. Previously we got 1 comma 6. You can clearly see here. We have discussed this one. Previously we have got 1 comma 6 and we are comparing 8 comma 10 with 1 comma 6, means they do not overlap in this case. So just keep this in mind. They do not overlap. 8 comma 10 we have here. 8 comma 10, 1 comma 6. They do not overlap in this case. Now result becomes 1 comma 6 and 8 comma 10. Why this doesn't overlap? So intervals, so we have different numbers here, right? Completely. So 8 does not fall between 1 to 6, right? 1 to 6 interval. So quite obviously they do not overlap here. In this case, after 1 comma 6 we will be adding the 8 comma 10 after 1 comma 6, right? I hope this is clear. Now this will be obviously 1 comma 6 and 8 comma 10, right? Next step here is we will be comparing the last array. So this one 15 comma 18 with 8 comma 10, right? So let me come here, just give me a second here. Yeah, we'll be comparing 15 comma 18 with 8 comma 10. They do not overlap. You can clearly see here 8 comma 10 and 15 comma 18 we have. So 15 does not fall between 8 to 10. So here they do not overlap. Result now becomes 1 comma 6, 8 comma 10 and 15 comma 18 in this case. 1 comma 6, 8 comma 10 and 15 comma 18 in this case, right? So the final output, we will be adding the 15 comma 18 to the output, this one result array, right? So this becomes 1 comma 6, 8 comma 10 and 15 comma 18. So the final output that we got here is 1 comma 6, 8 comma 10 and 15 comma 18. So right, so this is same as what they have given in the output here. So these two matches, so approach works absolutely correct in this case, right? This is the approach that we will be going with. I hope the approach that we discussed is completely clear, right? So next what we will do, let's discuss the edge cases one by one. Let's discuss the edge cases one by one here. The first edge case here is single interval. So we have intervals here 2 comma 5. Only single interval we have here, right? So just give me a second here. So we have only one interval, nothing but so what happened here? Why this is not working? Just give me a second here. Screen got stuck. So this is fine. Just give me a second. Yeah. Here in this case we have only one interval, that is nothing but 2 comma 5. Output will be quite obviously 2 comma 5 itself in this case, right? So the next edge case we'll be discussing about here is this one, all non-overlapping intervals. 1 comma 2, 3 comma 4 and 5 comma 6 we have. Output will be 1 comma 2, 3 comma 4, 5 comma 6 itself in this case. So this will be 1 comma 2, 3 comma 4 and finally this will be 5 comma 6 as well. So we have discussed for the single interval as well as all non-overlapping, right? Here all overlapping we will discuss. Now this is one of the important edge cases as well. So we have 1 comma 5, 2 comma 6 and 3 comma 7 here. You can clearly see. So output here will be 1 comma 7. This one basically we have to merge this one, right? So here this one also we have to merge. After merging this one, we will get 1 comma 6 here, and 1 comma 6 and 3 comma 7, quite obviously we have to merge this one again, because 3 comes between 1 comma 6 here. So minimum, again we'll take minimum of this one and this one, nothing but 1, and the maximum of 6 and 7 will be 7. So output will be 1 comma 7 in this case. I hope this is clear. So the final edge case here is exact boundaries, right? Intervals 1 comma 4 and 4 comma 5 we have here. In this case, output will be quite obviously this one, what do you call, 1 comma 2, 3 comma 4 and 5 comma 6. So this one exact boundaries we are going with, right? Sorry, this will be, we have to merge this one, right? So here 4 and 4 we have, so 4 lies between 1 to 4, right? So here in this case, min of 1 comma 4 will be 1, and max of 4 comma 5 will be 5. So output will be 1 comma 5 in this case. So the final edge case here would be intervals 1 comma 4 and 4 comma 5. So here output will be in this case 1 comma 2 and 3 comma 4. So here intervals have considered unsorted input, right? Here this one let me consider, instead of this one let me consider here 5 comma 6. So I have considered the wrong one, sorry. Let me consider the correct edge case here, 3 comma 4 this will be. So here in this case, what we will do, we will merge 1 comma 2, 3 comma 4, and this one will be 5 comma 6. So this is the fifth edge case. So this is the output that we got. So what are the edge cases that we considered here? So single interval, all non-overlapping, and the third one is all overlapping, fourth one is exact boundaries touching, and the fifth one here is unsorted input, right? So I hope all the 5 edge cases are completely clear. So I hope the approach that we discussed and the edge cases that we discussed is completely clear. Now let's start writing the. So first what we will do here, we will sort the intervals by the start value. So we have already discussed this one. So I'll just give here intervals dot sort of a comma b. This one will be a of 0 minus b of 0. This is fine. So this is sort intervals by the sort value. So the second step here is initialize the result array with first interval. So this one will be result equals intervals of 0. This one will be comma n equals length of the intervals here, intervals dot length. This is fine. So this is the second step. So the third step here is we will be iterating through the intervals. So this will be for loop let I equals 1, I less than n we have to consider right here. This is fine. We have considered length as intervals length as n. So we have assigned to the n variable n here. This is fine. So let's increment the I here. So here we have to go with the last interval in result, right? So how can I write that, or how can I articulate that one in the form of code? Previous equals result of last one is length of the result minus 1 right here. So this one is fine. So the next step here is we have to consider the current interval as well. So this one will be current equals intervals of I. So I hope this is completely clear. So the next step here we will consider, or we will check for the overlap. So here in this case we will make use of simple for loop current of 0 less than or equal to previous of 1. So then what we will do, we will check for the overlap here, right? So if current of 0 less than or equal to previous one, if they overlap, then what we will do, we have to merge the intervals by updating the end of the last interval, right? Simply we can write in this way. So previous of 1, so this one equals math.max of prev of 1, nothing but previous of 1 comma current of So I hope this is completely clear. Else what we will do here, if no overlap, I mean if there is no overlap, if we are not merging this one, merging the intervals, then what we will do, we will push the current interval directly to the result. That's what we need to do, right? So here in this case, I'll just give result dot push of current. So I hope this is completely clear. The final step here is we have to return the merged intervals. Finally, we have to return the merged intervals. In this case, we are storing in the res variable. I'll just return result variable here. So let me quickly hit the run button. So what error we are getting here? Math. Okay, fine. So this has to be small a here. So let me format this one once and let me hit the run button. So here you can clearly see the sample test cases are getting passed here, right? So let me quickly hit the submit button. So here you can clearly see all the test cases are getting passed here. Means the code works absolutely correct in this case. Let's quickly discuss the complexities for the code that we have written. So approach name or the approach that we went with here is sorting and merging, right? So the approach, we can simply call it as sorting as well. So the approach that we went with here is sorting. And what would be the time complexity here? Sorting is the dominant factor. We know this one. So the time complexity would be quite obviously here because of n log n or logarithmic n, right? N log n, because sorting takes big of n log n and merging takes big of n, and sorting is the dominant factor. We will be considering big of n log n, right? So what would be the space complexity here? Overall space complexity would be big of 1, because we are making use of only few variables which requires constant space, right? So which requires constant space. We do not require any additional space here. So the overall space complexity here would be big of 1, right? So the time complexity would be big of n log n and the space complexity would be big of 1 in this case, right? I hope the solution or the code that we have written is completely clear. For now, this is it. Thanks for watching, guys.